Hi, I'm the Love Guru Blair, and welcome to this video. So the question is, will couples therapy help save my marriage? And I will say, I don't know. Is it really the option you want to go? So let me introduce myself. My name is the Love Guru Blair, and I am a spiritual teacher, an intuitive heart healer, a love expert, and a psychic medium. I am also trained as a marriage and family therapist, hence the title of this video. Now, I just recently started working with couples again in the healing capacity to help them save their marriages, to help them improve their marriages, because sometimes we're not always looking to save our marriage. We're just having some issues that need to be kind of cleaned up and smoothed out so that we can have a better relationship with our partner. Now, a lot of times when things get a little bumpy in a relationship, in a marriage, or just in a general relationship, if you've been with your partner for some time, then people start thinking, well, let's go to couples therapy. Now, why do people say that? Because it is the thing that's out in the mainstream. You know, now it's so mainstream that people talk about their therapists all the time. I remember back in the day that people would not talk about themselves going to therapy. And now, like, it's trendy. Oh, my therapist or something. I don't know. I don't talk like that. Well, because I don't go to a therapist, but but I don't know. I think that that's probably a little bit of a private thing. In any event, I want to talk to you about the way that couples therapy works, what to expect, the real deal behind the scenes. And I want to share with you the work that I do, which is an alternative to therapy, which I find to be much more effective and much more of a happier and healthier solution to traditional therapy that's out there. Now, first off, when you go to a therapist, the way that they are trained is, well, they work one of two ways. One is you might get a therapist that will direct you with certain tools or techniques to use. So if you're not having sex a lot, they'll say, well, mark it on the calendar and then have sex like every Wednesday and every Friday and make it an appointment and put it in your calendar, whatever. So the way that that's presented is very much on the surface level, and it's kind of like forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do. Because again, if sex is your issue, if you wanted to have sex, you would be having it with your partner. It's not solved by forcing yourself to have sex. So that's one way that a therapist will work, is they will give you kind of prescriptions of things to do that are very much on the mind level and also very much on kind of like a forcing you to do something, to step out of, I would say, your comfort zone, but I don't know if it's really your comfort zone. It's just kind of stepping out of like the routine of what you're doing and forcing you to have a new routine. So that's one way a therapist works. Another way that a therapist works, and again, people are trained in different styles. So another way that a therapist will work is that you'll sit there and you will share what problems you're having with your partner. And they will just listen and listen and listen. And basically, they are there just to listen, just to be there, and then to ask you some questions, maybe to help you sort out your problems on your own. And that's fair also. They're both fair. You know, they both serve their purpose to a certain extent. The reason why I don't like therapy, the reason why I don't practice therapy, because remember, again, I said that I'm trained as a marriage and family therapist. So I have worked with couples doing therapy and helping them with that. But unbeknownst to people around me, I was also doing my healing work for them because I am a healer. I'm an intuitive heart healer, and I'm also a spiritual teacher. So the way that I work is that I come at things rather than in the mental space from your head. I am trying to sort things out and think things out. I come to help my clients from a heart level and from a soul and a spirit level. So the way that I work is that I am a channeler. And this is not some like kind of weird thing. The way that it works is that we'll be having a conversation and then spirit will start talking to me. I have all my psychic gifts developed. So I'll be feeling things, I'll be getting visions, I'll get all these different experiences, and I'll share with you guidance that spirit wants you to know that will help you move forward. My work is very proactive. So the way that it works is when you come to a session with me, this is also different than a therapist office. When you go to a therapist office, you're sitting and you're complaining. Basically, you're complaining about your partner, which is also terrible, terrible, terrible for your relationship to sit in that gunk of complaining all the time. Because all what that does is get you frustrated, get you more upset with your partner, and it kind of just agitates things without bringing out a solution. So you're complaining in those sessions. Whereas when you come to the sessions with me, and I work with couples over a really short period of time, a one-day retreat, a healing retreat, or over a period of 3 months, that we'll have sessions over Skype, or we can do them in person. And when you come to the session with me, yes, you're sharing about what's upsetting you, but you're also getting solutions. You're getting guidance direct from spirit. Again, I kind of rule myself out of there and I act as a channel for spirit to share the guidance with you. So you're getting solutions. It's a proactive way of being that, and also what you're doing is you're bringing your notepad. You're both bringing a notepad to the sessions. You're both taking notes. You're both getting guidance, and you're both getting exercises to do. So again, you're both taking an active part in improving your relationship, having you guys become closer as a unit. And it's about giving you real-time solutions of how to fix things like right away. Again, when you go to therapy, a lot of it is process. You're processing your emotions, you're processing your thoughts, you're trying to think of things of how to solve, and that is how therapists are trained. A lot of therapists, unfortunately, have not done their own work on themselves, their own healing work. And for me, this was nothing that I sought out on my own. This is when, again, when you have a divine path, a life mission, a divine purpose of what you're supposed to be doing in this world, Spirit has guided me along this path. And as I shared in one of my other videos, I have been working in this dating and love relationship field for 15 years. And I'm talking about professionally for 15 years, I have been doing this work. For the past 10 years, Spirit has been taking me through a healing process of my own, that I had to go through healing the relationships that I have had in my own life. Now, what happens is problems show up in your intimate relationship. So when I was going through this journey myself of deep healing, and it doesn't have to take you 10 years, I work with people in a very advanced way. That it's over a period of months that you sort things out. Again, that's my personality. That's how my gift has come through, is that I like change quickly. I like transformation, and I'm really proactive, that it's like, you tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I want to process through my emotions. I want action steps. And if that's the way that you are also, that you're really into like self-growth, you want to improve yourself, you want to learn lessons, then we're probably a good match to be working together. Because that's what this journey is that you're learning about yourself, you're learning about how you are in relationship, you're going through healing work. Which is totally hard to explain what that is. It's something that you experience, but it's really deep and interesting. And for me, I went really deep into it. My first healer came into my life when I didn't even know what it was. An intuitive healer came into my life back in 2005. So like I said, so I guess that wasn't 10 years. I think that's 9 years. We're almost at the 10-year mark because we're just clearing January here. So it's going to be 10 years. So that has been 10 years of me healing these childhood wounds that I never knew I had, these kind of issues that I never knew I had, these blocks that I had, this way of showing up in the world that I never had. And the way that this healing stuff shows itself, again, so I've been going through this process for 10 years, but it got like really intense for me over the last 3 years. Now you would say, well, why? Why did it step up a notch? It was because I was in a really intimate relationship. I was in my marriage and things were not going so great. And at the time, I was studying to become a marriage and family therapist. So I applied, as the name says, marriage and family therapist. So I was having problems in my marriage at the same exact time I was learning all these techniques. So I was applying them, or at least trying to apply them to my relationship. And I was going to a therapist at the time too, to help sort it through. And I was reading lots of therapy books. I mean, I was all in it. And it wasn't working. Things were getting worse in our relationship. My husband also didn't want to be looking at this stuff. And he would start up with me, why are you studying all the therapy? Why are you analyzing our relationship? And it was like, dude, we're having problems. The relationship is not so good. So I share this with you because therapy did not work for me. And it doesn't work for a lot of people. One of the problems, the reasons why therapy doesn't work for a lot of people is because by the time that a couple decides to go see a therapist, their relationship is already in such bad shape that it only makes it worse by going to therapy. Because why? Because things I already shared. You're regurgitating the things that have been built up over months, over years, that have been pissing you off about your partner, that have been upsetting you, that now you're sitting in an hour-long session upset about that and talking about that. So a lot of relationships don't improve from therapy, and and therapy does not help a lot of relationships. And mine was one of those relationships that it did not help. And if anything, it made things worse, and it made me realize, like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Oh, she's cursing. Yeah, I curse, and you're allowed to also. When we have sessions together, you're allowed to let it out, let the anger out. So what I have found is that what really helped me improve in my relationships and what helped me really sort through the reason why I was having these issues was that I went deeper into myself, into healing work, and deeper into healing the relationships in my life. Because when problems show up in your intimate relationship, it's really a reflection of a deeper problem that you're having with all relationships in your life. And it really goes back to the first relationships you had, which is with your parents, which is with your family members, whoever raised you, whatever that family unit was. There's a lot of underlying issues there that need to come up, that need to be healed, that need to be released. Now, this is not something that I can explain to you in this, 20-minute video, half an hour video, however long I end up talking for. This is something that you need to experience, and that's the way that you get through it. So the way that I help my clients, the way that I can help you if you're having relationship problems, is that you have a session, and then we start working together over a period of time. And when I work with my couples, we work together during extended periods of times. It's not just an hour-long session. It's an hour and a half, or it's a day that we spend several hours going through this healing work. So, because again, when you're having problems in your relationship, you want to fix them fast. Because if they keep on building up, there's a tipping point that you get to. This is a studied fact. There's been a lot of research done on this, that when couples fight, when couples have issues in their relationship, it gets to a certain point that it builds up. And then once you hit that tipping point, there's no turning back. And I hit that in my relationship. And then it was like, hell no, there's no way that this can be recovered now. Even though I tried over and over again, I did not want to give up on that relationship. And especially because of what I do and who I am, I did not want to give up. I wanted to be successful at my marriage. So the healing work gives you an education of why you're having trouble, and the root cause of this. So you're learning about how to do relationships better. You're learning how to become empowered in your relationships. Most likely you're in a codependent relationship. Most people in this world are. Most of us have sabotaging behaviors that when we get really close to our partner, when we get really intimate, we start sabotaging things too. So you're going to get an education about this. That's the spiritual teacher side of me. That's the teacher side of me. Then you're also going to get the healing work, which is not something that you can put words to. It's healing work that is done through the words that I speak to you while we're having sessions. It's done through the exercises that you receive, because you receive homework in between sessions that you and your partner are both going to have exercises to do. Sometimes it'll be the same exercises. Sometimes it'll be different exercises. And through this, you develop better relationships. And it's also about deepening the relationship and the love that you have for yourself. So back to the question, will couples therapy save your marriage? I don't know, and I really don't think so, and I really wouldn't risk it. And that's why I share my method and the alternative to therapy that I offer, because I've been there and I've done that, and I would not want you to go through that for months, for years in therapy. It is not required for you to be in therapy for that amount of time, and usually if you are in couples therapy for so long, things are not getting solved. There's not movement happening. I'm going to share an example, and maybe this sounds kind of silly or whatever, but two of the shows that I have been watching these days are both two relationship shows that have to do with celebrities. I'm not going to share the names of them, but they're two relationship shows that frequently show that both of these couples are having trouble. And they're both in therapy. Because again, like I said, that's what we know to go to in our mainstream. That's what we think is the only alternative. But there are plenty of alternatives. Well, I don't know if there's plenty of alternatives. There is an alternative to couples therapy, and that's the healing work that I offer. But you see, week after week, these couples, things are not getting resolved. And if anything, the fights get worse, the experiences get worse, and with one of them, the relationship has broken up. So do you want to experience this in your life? Do you want to do kind of a crapshoot with your relationship of going to therapy and possibly making things worse? Or do you want to have action steps and healing work done so that you can really get to the bottom of the things, the problems that are going on, and heal the underlying cause of what's happening in your relationship so that you can move forward and be happy again? So if this sounds good to you, then I invite you to explore becoming one of my clients, and you can schedule an initial consultation at loveguru.net. Thanks, and I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.